Hey everybody, Jackrabbit here. Today we've got a Yale Platinum. This is a 6-pin dimple lock with 4 sliders. This is a blue belt level, and this was sent over to me by Vector Potential. If you don't already follow Vector Potential, I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. I was kind enough to send this over. Here's the key. But this is a very fun pick. So let's get this set up and we'll try to demonstrate how this lock is picked. All right, so I'm going to start with trying to set the pins before moving on to the sliders. To do so, I'm going to use this multi-pick number 5 profile. So let's get this. All right, so we're going to use a little bit of tension going clockwise. All right, and we'll give this a start. Nothing on 1, nothing really on 2. Okay, a little click out of 3, the core turned a little bit. What I'm looking for is a nice, relatively deep false set, and then we'll move on to the sliders. There's still nothing on 1. Little click on 2, the core turned a little bit more. Okay. Little click on 4. Let's try 1 here. 1's binding now. Okay, click out of 1, and the core turned. So I think we're in a pretty decent false set. So now what I'm going to do is move on to, I'm just going to use this pick here and try to move in on these sliders. And these sliders have springs, and there's no false gates, so really just need to kind of jockey them into position. Don't need to be too gentle. There's 4 of them. So I'm just kind of doing what I can to see if I can get them to click in. And it really feels like they all might be in. So let me go back and double check the pins. They all feel like they might be set. Oh, there we go. It was pin 3, and we got it open. So that's a super fun lock. Let's take a look at what's inside and how this thing works. Camera down here. Okay, so we'll pop the key in here quick. Oh, did I lock this sucker up? Yeah, I did. So turned it a little too far. There we go. So if you ever turn it a little too far, there's just the pins up here just kind of drop down into the keyway, so you just had to kind of push those back up. All right, so let me start gutting this sucker. Now there's a lot of small springs in this lock. So I'm going to take my time here. You can always feel free to skip ahead if you get bored. I'm going to slide a shim in here. The pins are a little bit, driver pins are offset, so I'm hoping to try to catch them all with that shim. But now, one thing I gotta be careful with is the sidebar on this lock. It's at the bottom of the core. I'm just trying to be real careful. And you can see here's the there's the sliders, and here's the sidebar. So what I'm going to do here first is I'm going to try to take the sidebar out while holding everything else in place. All right, so there's the sidebar, and you see these tiny little springs here and here. I don't want to lose those, so we're going to just kind of dump them all right, let me take this pick and try to pull this little spring out. There we go. All right. So here's the sidebar. And you can see that little spring has attached itself to my tweezers. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is try to remove the key without launching the sliders. There we go. All right, before I move on to the sliders, I'm going to take out the key pins. So you can see they're kind of offset there. So we'll do, that's pin 1. It's pin 2. Pin 3. And I'll rearrange these a little bit once I get everything out here. There's pin 4. There's pin 5. And that's pin 6. All right, so now let's take out these sliders. We're going to start with the 4th one here. All right. Slider 3. Two. And 1. All right, so that's what the sliders look like. And then let me, so now the other thing here is these sliders are, we've got spring loaded here, so there's 4 springs down in there. So let's take those springs out. I'm going to put those springs over here just to separate them from everything else. So there's the 4 springs. That's what I meant when I said this has got a lot of springs in here. So, all right, so this is what the core looks like. Let's see. There's really nothing unusual in here, no threading, nothing like that. Okay. Let's move on to the drivers. Get that out there. All right, so these are kind of, so we're going to cant these back and forth. All right, so here's the first driver pin. Let me set focus here so we can see it. All right, so you can see it's nice little pin there. All right, I'm going to take out the springs last. So all the springs are the same. Oh, pin 2 appears to be stuck down in there. Interesting. Okay, well, let's see if we can bang that out later. Let's move on to pin 3. Pin 4. It looks like a lot of these pins are standards. I think there's a taper in there somewhere, 1 or 2. All right, yep, pin 5 is tapered. And there's pin 6. I think that's a standard. All right, so now I'm going to try to dump these springs and get that other pin out of there. Okay, so there's the pin. It's pin 2. Looks like, yeah, the spring is stuck down in there for some reason. There it comes. So there's the spring. I'm a little worried about mangling it, so I'm gonna, maybe we can gently pull it out and see what's up with it. So I'm gonna grab it on a hook here. Might have to try to see what we can do to fix that pin. Okay, well, there it is. Yeah, that spring's a little bit mangled. I'll see if I can get that fixed up and put back in here. But all in all, extremely fun lock. Let's give you a good look at the pins here. I accidentally moved, put pin 6 in there. Okay, so there we go. That's what the pins look like. A lot of fun. This is going to be kind of a pain to put back together, but thank you, Vector Potential, for sending that over. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys at the next one.